Welcome to the podcast. This is Mr. Ish. We're here at Kips Bay Boys and Girls Club. The Bronx, snowstorm coming, 8 to 12 inches. The city's about to get shut down. But on the phone, we have someone that's not new to snow. This is 8 to 12 inches of snow is nothing for him. We have a good friend of the podcast, definitely someone that listens all the time. We have Joe, is it Yates? How you say your last name?
Joe Yates. Yes,
Joe
sir.
Yates. That sounds like a professional singer or something. Joe Yates is from a Boys and Girls Club in Alaska. So he's been on the podcast before. We've done the podcast together, and I just want to welcome him again. Today we got some news for everyone. Please, Joe, introduce yourself.
Yes, I am from Anchorage, Alaska. We are putting on a National Boys and Girls Club Music Awards today, and we have about 12 different clubhouses from about 9 different states involved in this, including your clubhouse, which is brilliant. Fiona and Ashley killed it in their song, so we're really happy to have you guys involved. But yeah, we are very excited for this opportunity for the kids, for everybody to grow and as artists, and something to look forward to, especially throughout all this time. So we need something to look forward to and move forward.
Definitely, our kids were anxious to do. You know how kids are. They're just competitive. Anything that competes against something, and then, like we're in our territories are so different that they're like, Alaska? How we got in contact with Alaska? So I'm telling them the story, how we met. And, the beginning when I started doing podcasts, how you reached out to me. I like your podcast. And I just called you and we started clicking and just talking about, just regular stuff and became good friends over the phone. And when I had the opportunity, when you brought this up and you were like, hey, will you guys be interested in it? I was like, of course. Like, this is easy. This is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to, make sure that we get different members involved, different clubhouses involved. And when we first started, it was only four clubhouses, right? Like when we first talked about it, it was like 4 clubhouses. It wasn't like as major as it turned out. Like 2 days later, there's a whole bunch of other people.
Yes. It was supposed to be just our club versus another clubhouse in Anchorage. And then we're like, hey, I know a guy in New York. So I called you up. You sounded super excited. And one of my guys, like, I know a guy in Atlanta. So it started off with us 4. We got coast to coast. Then we called a bunch of other clubhouses from San Francisco to Florida to Nashville to everywhere. So
wow, that for kids, if you're listening to the podcast, that's the way it's done. Is a approach. You have to approach someone and don't be scared to take no. If you're not scared, if you're scared to take the chance, then you're never gonna know. So look at this. We came from two clubhouses in Alaska to 11 throughout the country, and I'm sure that I know that yesterday we spoke about it, and we were like, you know what? I could see the vision for next year. If 11, it could be 24 next year. I could see what could happen after that.
Oh yeah, and we just did this. When did I call you? About a month ago?
Mm-hmm. About a month ago.
It was about a month ago. And we got this much exposure within a month, and then all these songs are brought to us within a month. And if we try to plan for it next year, give people a nice heads up, people can start looking forward to this, making videos nice ahead of time, get more, get their lyrics down, get their rapping down. Be good.
Yeah, I think
I see big things for this.
Yeah, I think you open up a can of worms. We may have to do a competition within the clubhouses to get the best of the clubhouses, and then send that into you guys. Because we have 9 clubhouses. Kips Bay Boys and Girls Club has 9 clubhouses. So within just our 9, we're gonna probably have to do a talent search and narrow that down to a couple that we could maybe send to you guys. So. Thank you for the heads up, and we have enough time now to plan. And people have to understand too that everyone is going through this pandemic. I know you had a shutdown for a week or so. Then I had a shutdown, or I was out because schools were closed, and when schools are closed in New York State, Usually the Boys and Girls Club is closed, but I was under quarantine because somebody was exposed in my building. So it was this is not like we just had a month of work. There's things that happen, and we had good news too. You had a baby boy. So in between all that, we had a baby boy. We got videos done. We got 11 clubhouses. A lot was done in a month. We had a lot done in a month.
Yes.
So
it's an amazing thing that you can do during quarantine time.
definitely, that's probably the best thing that could come out of this is that we know our limitations. Like we always have an excuse. Oh, we don't have enough time. Now we have time. So because of this, that's why we had these 11 or 12 videos that we had that the kids did, because we had just more time with them.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, we were shut down. At first, we were shut down for about 2.5 months. And then just recently, this past month, we were shut down for 2 weeks because we also got exposure. And with that, our kids went from about, 120 or so kids a day to about 30, 25 to 30. And now we have our staff is a lot more one-on-one. We get to know them, we get to know their parents, we get to be more involved with their lives. And I had a chance to figure out, hey, you guys are really into music. Let's call this guy. I know this guy. He came in. He's like, yeah, these kids got talent. So we just kind of made it our weekly program, and these kids are growing as artists, growing as people. We're giving them life lessons along the way, and it's great.
Yeah, I also noticed that once you give them, especially now that we have lower numbers, the one-on-one, you get more out of them quickly. Like sometimes you get good song. I mean, sometimes you get good news, and sometimes my dad's not around. My mom's having a hard time. You get those stories also, which is, what we're here for. We have to deal with the good and the bad, and at those points, sometimes we could help out with maybe some coats. We could help out with extra food. Make sure that he has dinner or takes extra one home for his sister. Whatever it might be, those are the things that are touching stories, but that we still that we here for. We're not just here just to show them how to play pool and chess and all that stuff. We're here for everything. And it seems like even though you're in Alaska and I'm in New York, it's still the Boys and Girls Club. At the end of the day, the mission is the same. The mission is to make sure that we're here for our members and the community.
Yep, exactly. We've given out a lot of food throughout this time. A lot of families are not working anymore, so we reach out to them. We give them a lot of food, and then we're there for the kids who are going through tough times as well as good times. There's kids who literally run from their house and come to our clubhouse saying he just got news that their family is getting into divorce.
Wow.
And we're there for them. We're the first ones who he thinks of that extra family around him. And it's just like those little things you don't really realize how much these kids depend on us, and who really need somebody. Because like these kids, they try to front like they're tough, they're hard,
stronger than they are. They try to always act like they're stronger, but they're not.
Yep, and it doesn't matter where you're at, because I worked in clubhouses from when we averaged about 3 in the villages to the cities. So, and no matter where you're at, the kids are the same. They all want love. They all want attention. They all need these little things that not all families can give them. And that's what the Boys and Girls Club are here for. So
yeah, that's always been one of my mottos. We've had, when every year you have a new staff and you have these meetings and people tell their little stories. I've been here in this particular clubhouse for I think 8 years now, and I've worked every aspect of the clubhouse. So when I'm telling my story, I usually get one story that I always retell every year is that I could, when I was maintenance, I wasn't exposed to the children as much. But then once I started working on the floors, I was like, okay, so every time I see a child and I say, Mr. Ish, this is and that, I stop what I'm doing. And I give them full attention, because that could be the time where they want to tell me something important. It doesn't matter that I'm on lunch. It doesn't matter that I'm
Mhm.
walking to this place or to another part of the building. I have to stop because this is the time they decided to expose or talk to me. I can't say, "Yo, I'll be right back," and give me 5 minutes. No, even if it's on my lunch break, I'll be like, "Yeah, what's up, Anthony? Oh, I just wanted to tell you thanks. My dad saw the picture, or he learns how to play chess with me, or something like that." So those little stories like that are very important because you never know when someone's gonna say, "You know what, Mr. Ish, I didn't eat yesterday." You understand? That's
Mhm.
a sad thing to hear. That's a sad thing to hear. So we have to be here for those. I did good on my test. I didn't, do good. My grandmother passed away. Whatever stories they have, when they decide to open up, we have to be ready for that. We can't choose their
Yep.
time. And I tell people all the time, when you're working with kids, you can't choose the time that they decide to open up for you. So be ready at all times. Sometimes you have to
Yep.
be comforting. Sometimes you have to, you want to give these kids a hug. You want to be able to just be there to support them. So that I always tell this story all the time. Never say, "Oh, I'll be back in 15, 20 minutes," because I'm still on my lunch break. If you're in the building and you got a staff shirt on, it's time to work.
Yep.
It's time to work.
Exactly.
So what else is going on? What else is going on over there in Alaska? You guys did
Oh man, we
a good job, man. I wanted to commend you on how quickly you got this done, how professionally it got done. From one day to another, it just kept on, and that's not only you; that's the staff that's behind the scenes. So I like to thank all the staff. I know staff members reached out to me yesterday. I have people in my staff that if I'm doing a podcast, he's uploading the video, and then I'll sit down with somebody else to edit something else, and then I'll sit down with somebody else to do another shoot. So it's not just the kids; it's all the staff and everyone that's behind it, the support of the directors, obviously, and of the clubhouses.
Mhm.
That's very important when the clubhouse, especially I guess myself and you, know that when we have a program that's really really interesting and the kids are interesting and they let us do what we do, it shows in the products that we put out there. It shows in your podcast, it shows in my podcast, it shows in the videos you do, the videos that we put out on this side. So it shows because they're not, they let us as artists, they're letting us be free and show the members, what they're capable of. Because that's the thing, we have to show them what they're capable of. We're not
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
we're not doing audition. We already got the job. We got the job, so it's on them from this point.
Yeah, exactly. I always tell the kids. So I'm going to paraphrase it right now, but Martin Luther King Jr. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call. He said, "Whatever you do, be the best that you do it. If you're a street sweeper, be the best street sweeper you can be.
Definitely.
Because you are not guaranteed tomorrow. You are not guaranteed this job. You have to push yourself, and whatever little thing that you do, make sure you do all the details. Make sure you put the effort in now, so the results can come back the way you want it. Because another thing I always tell the kids is that you have to do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do. We have to put in the work right now so we can be able to have an event tomorrow. So it's just like it's all these little things, every single step along the way. And yeah, I know I've been a podcast listener for a while, so I know you do shout outs at the end, but I like to give a shout out to my staff. I'm on paternity leave right now. As you mentioned, I do have baby boys.
I'll give you a little clap for your group.
Oh, appreciate it. Appreciate it.
I'll give you
Yeah, I have my baby boy about.
I'll give you my Funk Master
Yeah.
Flex bomb. No, I definitely I appreciate everything they doing. I mean, yesterday I got a phone call. I was like, oh, I don't have since I'm working in a studio, I don't have a phone directly in my office. So everything is like, you have a phone call, you have to go to the first floor. Unlike your building, you probably have just one floor. We have 4 floors, so you jump in, you're running up and down. So I'm running downstairs to make sure I got the phone call, and nice guy, gave me. It was like, yo, I'm trying to reach you. Joe's on paternity leave, and he told me to reach out to you. So I was like, oh, okay. So we talked and all that. We exchanged our emails and everything. And I was like, I appreciate that you took the time to make sure that I was informed. So it was great, and and I think that the relationship myself and you have built just from phone calls. Like, we don't really know each other. We see phone calls. I mean, now we know each other. You know, you know something about my family. I know something about your family, and it's become a good friendship, even though it's just over the phone. You know, most of the time, it's still pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy of what kind of things can grow just through technology nowadays from podcasts.
Definitely.
I believe your club and our club are the only ones who did podcasts from the Boys and Girls Club as of last year, anyways.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of reached out to you and found you. And your kids are great. Just from McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Just
Inside
like
joke.
little things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to listen to other podcasts to get that joke. But yes, it's great. It's wonderful what technology can do if you use it the right way, not to spend 20 hours on TikTok, but to use it to build either relationships or build a craft, whatever you want to do with it, build or grow as a person. So, yeah, I totally agree.
And I also like I think I just put a podcast up of we had 2 new members that just happened, you know, it happened to be their first day. They walk into my classroom and they're looking at the microphones, they're looking at the board. You know, I got my laptop out, and I'm like, okay, welcome. And they're like, they just run to the seats. They're like, well, what are we doing here? And I'm like, okay, you run into the seats, but you don't even know what we're doing. So I explained to them what a podcast is. They jumped right in, and they were brand new. I didn't know their names. I don't know nothing about them, and they just felt at home so quick. In between the podcast, you know, we were in 5-6 minutes. So I'm just, you know, I'm discussing, oh, have you gone to digital arts? Have you gone to the gym? Have you done this and that? They were like, we did all that. This is my favorite class. And they just walked in. So hearing that from someone, maybe this is just a tool for them to open up. Maybe it's kind of cool to have someone that speaks to them on their level. You know, just giving them a chance to just talk about everything that's on their mind. So that's why when you hear my podcast, one of the first things I always tell them is, hey, what's on your mind? I don't want to script nothing. I don't want to tell you, today we're talking about, you know, this, and that. No, I want to know what's on your mind, because that is enough of a story to continue the podcast, or to have other people, oh, you know what, he's saying this about his family. Let me tell them about my family. Let me explain about my dog. Let me explain about my day, or things that I'm going through. So once you just throw that one simple question out, it usually opens up. And as you can see, I think now we probably have, I think 130 podcasts up. Wow. Pretty
Wow.
sure. Yeah, so about 130 podcasts up. And I don't think I've repeated too many of them, you know. So it's, you know, every kid has a different story, and I'm just, you know, giving them the tool to expose themselves, and to talk about it. And sometimes this is, you know, for shy kids also. They don't like to be on video and stuff. So because you're shy, all they hear is your voice. You know, no one really has to see you. So that kind of opens them up. And, you know, they also want to be Insta famous. They want to be on YouTube. They want to share it with a friend, and that's pretty cool too.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. All kids want their voice to be heard. And then you should give yourself one of those horn things for getting over 130 episodes. That's crazy.
I'll give myself a bomb.
Yeah.
You remember when we first started? we literally, I Googled who does a podcast, and you Googled who does a podcast, and it was only us 2. It was only us 2. Like, you had 2, and I probably had 1 under my belt. So we were like, okay, we're the only ones in how you call it, in North America that does this. So that's kind of the one connection that we had. Like, you wasn't scared to reach out and say, hey, you know, I like what you're doing. And I was like, hold up a second, you doing the same thing? Let me reach out to you. So that just started off. So you've been through all my podcasts and all my travel. It hasn't been long. It's only been what, a year and a half maybe.
Yeah, about a year.
A year and a half, and, you know, pandemic in between that, this place being closed, the summer not being the same. So if, you know, if you think of it that way, you know, it's we're capable of probably doing way more, but even between that, we still have a lot of exposure, and a lot of exposure to the medium and the children also.
Yeah, we're relatively new to the game. And then you have listeners from all over the world, from what I know. Yeah. How many countries?
Right now, as of yesterday, we added 9 more countries. So we have 72 countries. We have 48 states. I don't know what 2 states are waiting, but we have 48 states, and we have and I think right now we have 5,500 listeners.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is amazing.
and that started from nothing. Like when I look at the stats and I'm like, who in Dubai knows me? Like I know certain ones. I know Japan. I know Santo Domingo, Puerto Rico. Like there's some that I might know,
Hmm.
but who do I know in
Yeah,
Dubai that's listening to a podcast or in India right now? I really don't. In Germany, I think
that's great.
I know a couple of people in Germany. So there might be some places, but Africa. There's a lot of small countries in Africa. I don't know a lot of people, but when you think of it, some of these kids are from smaller towns in Africa. So they might give it to their aunt, or they might tell their aunt to log in, or whatever. So now that's how it gets exposed. So
We never
I'm
know
amazed.
who you're. You
Definitely.
never know who you're touching their lives in an important way. They
So
run home. They tell their parents. They tell their aunties, uncles, grandma, grandpas, everybody who they live with, and their neighbors. So, and it's crazy of what kind of uh, diversity the kids come from, even just from our clubhouses alone. And you never know who's listening. It's
do you have
hi,
any?
mom. Just in case.
Hi, mom. Do you have any bilingual people in your clubhouse?
Very little at our specific clubhouse. The clubhouse about 3 miles away. There's over 100 different languages though.
Wow.
Um, the Mountain View Boys and Girls Club. They're the one with a very interesting music video. If you looked at their
Is that the one with the
our Audience Choice Award.
where he has the microphone and he's like in the with the wood?
No,
Okay.
that was him. He's from San Francisco.
Okay, I like that one too.
Um, yeah, that one's good. He has bars. The other one with like all the graphics and very edited.
Oh, you
Um,
talking about the East Side one?
yep, the East Side, the real
Okay,
East
yeah, yeah,
Side.
yeah. The real East Side. Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that one. I saw that
yeah,
one.
that's the one with over 100 different languages within that clubhouse alone.
Wow. I mean, we probably have a few here. I mean, obviously Spanish is the second language in the Bronx
Mm.
and kind of in New York State, to tell you the truth. But and then we have some of the kids that are coming from Africa and from Haiti, and they speak French
Mm-hmm.
and they speak different dialects of
Yeah,
different languages. So so we have a few, but I was always amazed because I know that in your territories there must be so many more languages and native languages and stuff like that. So I always wanted to throw that question at you. That's amazing because every once in a while I do a podcast and I may have somebody that speaks only Spanish, and
mm,
I always joke around. I say I press the SAP button on the controller, so I speak to him in Spanish and then I kind of translate. And I think I've done 2 all Spanish podcasts, which were very very funny. You probably don't
that's
understand
great.
that. I should have put subtitles on the YouTube, but it
YouTube.
was.
Yeah,
I just happened to have 4 kids. They just happened to come from either Haiti, Santo Domingo, Puerto Rico, and they didn't speak English. So I was like, okay, that doesn't stop this podcast, and they were shocked by I'm not gonna limit it because you guys don't speak the language that everyone wants to listen. I said we're gonna do a Spanish podcast, so that opened up to like, oh wow, Mr. Ish is cool. We're just gonna do it in Spanish. So we did the same thing. We joked around. I did my opening and all that, but we just did it in Spanish, and it became a real cool thing. And I see them in the hallways, and they're like, "I'm ready to do a podcast. I'm ready to do a podcast. I'm learning more English." So it's kind of cool that I see them, and they're growing. Also, they trying not to do it in English instead of doing it in Spanish, which is cool.
that's awesome. We
Yeah.
have one girl from Dominican Republic, and there's not too much kids who speak Spanish in our clubhouse, oddly enough. But she inspired other kids to learn. They're in high school now, and a lot of them are taking Spanish classes so they can speak with her. And it's pretty great. It's great to see them. Just one exposure can spark a fire, and just like this podcast, for an example, spark a fire, and just from one voice being heard, a lot of other people are learning. And it'd be great to. I wouldn't mind stealing your idea of throwing them from the microphone, all the ones who are learning, and
Yeah.
just have them speak nothing but Spanish. That'd be great.
Just whoever's trying, I mean, just let her kind of like take the lead. Obviously, she speaks more
Yeah,
Spanish, so she could kind of understand what they're trying to say, and maybe if they're saying it wrong, she clears them up and helps them to translate it. I mean, you know what? In real life, this is happening to me. My wife she speaks English. I speak English and Spanish, but my wife is Polish. So yeah, she's Polish. So when we go to her family's house for the holidays or we talk on the phone, they speak Polish. So my daughters are learning English, Spanish, and Polish. So they they know when they go to grandma's house, they say certain words that only grandma understands because it's Polish. When they speak to my mother, they speak to my mother in Spanish, and they say little things in Spanish because that's what my mother understands. And obviously, when they speak to us, they speak to us in whatever language they want, because I understand two of them, and their mother should understand the other two.
No, I'm almost on the same boat. My wife is Yupik, Alaska Native from the Southwest Territory, and I'm Haida, Southeast Territory of Alaska. And so we're teaching our daughter both languages. So when she goes to Yupik country, she'll speak Yuchtin, the Yupik language, and when she goes to the Haida country, she'll speak Hatkil, the Haida language. And we even made a little documentary on it because there's less than a handful of Haidas speak fluent in the language right now. So I'm personally trying to learn as much as I can in my language so I can be able to teach my daughter to keep our language alive.
Definitely. Well, that's a good thing. Thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Joe, for reaching out. I would like to just thank all the clubhouses. I'm gonna give them a bomb. I'm gonna give them all that for all the clubhouses that that just tried to get and help to get all this together. It was a great ride. I know we're gonna do bigger things, not just in this. I mean, we've done a couple of podcasts together already. I'm ready to reach out to whoever's interested. Now that we have a connection with 11 more clubhouses, let's just reach out to them and see, we could do this on the regular once a month and just have ideas. I mean, the ideas I gave you, don't worry about stealing them. They're out there in the open. They're for everyone. Use them well. And then when you use them, let me know. Because it might be something that I left out that I'm saying, oh, you know what? I didn't think about that, Joe. Let me try it your way. So thank all the members. Thank all the parents that give us a chance to be in their children's lives, because that's another important thing. They sign them up, they bring them, they pick them up, and it's an important thing that they trust us with their valuables. I would say, because it doesn't get more valuable than your child, and as a new parent, you know that.
Yes.
So
trust is a huge thing.
Thank you very much. Shout outs to everyone. Shout outs to Alaska. Shout outs to the staff. I appreciate you guys. Anybody we left out, Joe? You have to say shout out to your wife.
Everybody. Yes.
Shout out to the wife.
Shout out to my wife. She is still recovering right now, and she is one strong warrior. I can't tell you how much I respect that woman right there. So, and my daughter, my newborn son.
Congrats.
It gets me emotional just saying that. And thank you, Miss Aish. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
All right, sounds good. And the event starts in about 17 minutes. So
oh, okay. So let me stop this. All right, Joe. Thank you very much.
Check. 1 2 1 2. Check.
Thank you again, Alaska.